Good afternoon, everybody. This is Steve Fletcher with the Trumpet for My People. Today is June 24th, 2019, and I want to share with you about a true 17th day that we need to be watching based on biblical history. I want to share with you about the 17th day of Tammuz. Tammuz is the fourth month of the Hebrew calendar, and the 17th day of Tammuz has a great deal of history that we need to understand, and this would be a true 17th day on the biblical calendar that we need to be aware of and watching and understanding the meaning of the 17th day of Tammuz. 17 Tammuz is a fast day and the beginning of the 3 weeks. What happened on 17 Tammuz, making this a fast day in the beginning of what they call the 3 weeks of mourning? The fast of Tammuz, declared by the prophets, that marks the beginning of the 3 weeks, a period of mourning for the destruction of Jerusalem and the Holy Temple, culminating in the fast of Tisha B'Av, or the 9th of Av. 17 Tammuz, in the year 2105 BCE. On this day, Noah sent out the dove for the first time to see if the waters of the great flood had receded. But the dove found no rest for the sole of her foot and returned to the ark. Genesis 8:9. Some say that was a sign that Israel, who is compared to the dove, won't find rest on this day because the walls of Jerusalem were breached. The Talmud lists 5 tragic events in Jewish history that occurred on the 17th of Tammuz, on account of which a fast was instituted on this day. 5 tragic events in Jewish history that occurred on the 17th of Tammuz. Number 1, Moses came down from Mount Sinai with the first stone tablets inscribed with the 10 Commandments. Moses broke the tablets when he saw that the people of Israel were worshiping the golden calf. Number 2, the walls of Jerusalem were breached in 422 BCE before the destruction of the first temple, and in 69 CE before the destruction of the second temple. According to the Talmud, the city of Jerusalem is conquered. According to the literal meaning of the verse in Kings, during the first destruction, this actually took place on 9 Tammuz. And they say that the wrong date is recorded due to the enormity of the troubles that they were facing at that time. But the true date in history was 17 Tammuz. Number 3, the daily sacrificial offering was discontinued 3 weeks before the Babylonians' destruction of the first temple in 423 BCE. The daily sacrificial offering was discontinued on 17 Tammuz before the destruction of the first temple. Number 4, King Manasseh placed an idol in the first temple on this day. 17 Tammuz. And number 5, Apostomus, a Greek officer who ruled Eretz Yisrael before the destruction of the Second Temple, burned a Torah in public, setting a precedent for the horrific burning of Jewish books throughout the centuries. According to some, it was he who placed the idol in the temple at the same time he burned the Torah. The 17th of Tammuz began a time of 3 weeks of mourning leading up to the destruction of the first temple and the destruction of the second temple. And the fighting in Jerusalem continued for 3 weeks until the 9th of Av, when the temple was set aflame. And in the history of both temples, the 17th of Tammuz marked the beginning of the final 3 weeks leading up to the destruction of the temple on the 9th of Av. What is shown through history is that the 17th of Tammuz was the beginning of the end in both temples, in the history of both temples being destroyed on the 9th of Av, and the walls being breached in Jerusalem 3 weeks earlier, leading up to the 3 weeks of mourning and the destruction of the temple on the 9th of Av. So the 17th day of Tammuz is a key watch day biblically that gives us the understanding of the number 17, the importance of the number 17. What day is the 17th day of Tammuz? The 17th day of Tammuz is the 21st of July, and it takes us 3 weeks to the 9th of Av, between August 10th and 11th in 2019. So if you want a true biblical watch day connected to the number 17, 17 Tammuz is your day, the beginning of the 3 weeks of mourning to Tisha B'Av. Now this is a biblical 17th day that everyone needs to understand. I pray you are blessed today. This is Steve Fletcher with a trumpet for my people, a sign of his coming revealed.